And the Dutch lineup shows 5 changes from the side which drew 1-1 with Bulgaria, and they bring back in the number 8 shirt Johan Cruyff. Perhaps more significantly, they have 6 players who played against the England under-23 side in one or other of the 2 matches last season. The England side very much as expected. Hughes, of course, winning his first cap wearing the number 3 shirt. They've had a lot of trouble with injuries in choosing that lineup, as we know, and Sir Alf Ramsey has said that he will use the 2 substitutes. 2 of 4 players, the goalkeeper Stepney, Hunter Reaney and Peter Thompson. And it's the Dutch wearing the darker shirts, and perhaps we should remind ourselves that it took England a fair amount of time to get going last season, and that this is their first match after a 5-month layoff. The pitch, though, I would think would suit them very much. Certainly more give than they've had in pitches in recent times. Alan Mallory there, playing it up to Wright. Tommy Wright of Everton. And the first goal kick of the match. And the first touch, incidentally, of the ball there for Krol. We're looking at the new Dutch goalkeeper, Treitel. He's taken over from Van Beveren, who has an injured shoulder. It's his second cap. Might have been a bad one from Reinders, a great ode from the crowd, but a bit further away from Geoff Hurst than it looked. 5 minutes of the match gone, and no score. Peters, Lee is offside. Israel taking the kick. Van Hanegem has a lot of coming back for his club, plays often in midfield. This is Mulder, beaten there by Bobby Moore. Mulder plays for Anderlecht, played against Manchester United last season in the 8th finals of the European Cup. Drost. Pass for Mulder, but Mulder expecting it, I think, to the outside of him, not the inside. Bobby Charlton deep. 3 men up the park. And Hurst fouled by Eichenbroek, it was, who came across. Quite a few fireworks going off in the stadium. By no means packed, but a pretty healthy crowd. Charlton going away from Peters. Moore, Mallory diagonally forward. This is Mallory, number 4. Charlton, that bounced rather badly for him. Bell! Good shot and a good stop by Treitel. Colin Bell had to dig that one out a bit. Bobby Charlton across to take the first corner of the match in his 95th international for England. Jack Charlton up on the line. Peters trying to get there. Good punch by Treitel. That was Reinders back to help out. Lee trying to force his way through, and away by Israel at the back. Bit of pushing by Mulder on Hughes. Mulder, number 9. The only dark shirt. Lee, Hurst in the middle. Israel across the cover. Israel and Eichenbroek, 3 and 4, playing in the middle of the back 4 of the Dutch defence. More to Hughes. Headed up by Eichenbroek, and comfortably. Drost. Back from Veenstra. Cruyff there coming to look for the ball, hasn't seen too much of it yet. Looked pretty sharp this morning when I saw the Dutch team in training. Rensenbrink that was, moving away. Much too long. Charlton for England. Rensenbrink finding Van Hanegem. Reinders to his right, number 7. Veenstra. And again, much too long into the box. Centres like that won't trouble England at all. Or Peter Bonetti. Gessler, their manager, was saying this morning that they play a lot of pretty stuff, but they haven't got the finish. A bit of ducking from the horses in the crowd there. Didn't like the fact that the pass was made to them. The police in some trouble, and Francis Lee apparently amused. Anyway, it's a goal kick. Those brains won't help the horses. Mallory, Bell moving away. Mallory making ground. Good one by him. Hit it very cleanly and rifled down well. Body well behind the shot. Drost. Great. Rensenbrink moved into the middle. This Veenstra. Really giving it to Bobby Moore. Moore as ever, once having tied up a defensive situation, sending England again on attack. Flying header by Drost. Looks a bit long. Hurst trying to get there. Van Hanegem. Israel. Not a good return ball. 2 men round Van Hanegem. England working backwards. The crowd showing what they thought about it. Off from Bobby Charlton. This is Reinders. Very much more defensive-minded than his opposite, or his partner in midfield, Veenstra. Reinders again. Mulder. Rensenbrink going for the quick one. Bobby Moore across. Good work by Hughes. England caught there by the quick throw and saved by Emlyn Hughes. Bell. Veenstra. Ross. Cut out by Charlton, intended for Cruyff. Colin Bell. Lee down the flank. Taking Kroll with him, who's matching him stride for stride. And the foul by Lee, pushing Kroll in the back. It's Francis Lee, winning his 8th cap, and seems to have got a knock as he fell then. It's like his left foot. Five minutes now, the first half remaining. Pulled down by Drost. Reinders. Cruyff over this side, 2 men forward, Rensenbrink and Mulder. Cruyff taking over, number 8. Veenstra moving up to his right. Further outside him is Drost. A lot of orange shirts up, but a lot of white shirts back. Stolidly away by Bobby Moore. And pulled back 8 men then, leaving Hurst and Lee up the field. Certainly without being preoccupied by defence, it's their first prerequisite. Veenstra. And again Veenstra, number 6. Drost getting a lot of room on that flank. Peters, of course, not often there. Hughes struggling a bit then. Bonetti down by the near post. Certainly Drost there hit that one well. Bobby Charlton. Bell having to come back. The understanding not always there, but perhaps not surprising after this 5-month gap since the last international against Brazil on tour. Bobby Moore now coming forward to try one. We got very much underneath it. The England skipper winning his 73rd cap tonight. Jack Charlton with plenty of time. Hughes has really taken to international football like a duck to water so far. Moore. Charlton. Mallory taking over. Hurst. England have got 3 men in the 18-yard area. Bit of pushing and shoving going to Bell with a header off the crossbar. And away acrobatically by Reinders. And the referee waves them to the dressing room for the end of the first half. I think, though, that we can expect that Sir Alf Ramsey will use his 2 substitutes. He certainly said he would. But he's biding his time on that fact. He already said that he had no intention of asking 2 players to burn themselves out, as he did in Guadalajara. This is Van Dijk. Came on as a substitute against Bulgaria. Cruyff, number 8. Van Dijk calling for the long one. Brink beating Lee, going for the return, but tied it up by Mallory. England, I suspect we can see coming more and more out of their shells as the game wears on. Dutch have used their 2 substitutes. England have still got them up their sleeve. This is Reinders. Look at those white shirts there blocking the path. Jack Charlton said off me, or something like that. Muren. Drost. England pull all back bar 2. Good effort! Good save clear by Peter Bonetti. But a good effort from Van Dijk. Really got hold of it, and Bonetti had to show his best then. Cruyff coming across for a short corner with Mulder. 10 minutes of the second half gone. Little flick over, and Bonetti having to stretch, taking it well. Get it Muren. Rensenbrink. Muren further down the touchline. Having to play it back. Kroll calling for a long one on this side. Reinders back to Muren. Dutch really getting nowhere fast. Now Lee coming forward, Kroll coming back. But England's policy of containment really working very well. They're not really building too much up front themselves, though. But it was from that basis that England built last season. Cruyff trying to go through, takes on more. Nicely on the 6-yard line. Well, that's the best we've seen of Johan Cruyff so far. Right for England. Israel. This is Rensenbrink. Pass really much too soon. Muren going with Lee. Now Peters. Charlton just ahead. Lee thinking about coming in behind now. Mallory forming an extra man on the right. This is Lee. Trying to find Mallory, cut off by Muren. 10 minutes of the match remaining. Ball with Cruyff. And still no score. Cruyff has got Mulder to his right. Oh, and again Bonetti right up. Follow shot from Muren. 9 there is Mulder. Bonetti again coming off his line well to make the save. The Dutch crowd really want to see something for the pressure of the second half, which Bonetti has had to earn his keep, but even so, the England defence has played very well. This man, playing in his first international, has played well too, Hughes. Dutch have been forced to shoot from distance, and Bonetti has been equal to all their efforts. Hughes. Peters to his left, Bell to his right. Hughes could try one. Ball was going away from him and a bit off the outside of the boots. Didn't really deserve the whistles though, Emlyn Hughes. This is Rensenbrink. Pass intended for Cruyff, easily seen by Jack Charlton. Bell, Charlton, Mallory moving up behind him. Drost answered that one. Hughes. For a change, all bar Bonetti in Dutch territory. Bobby Moore going forward. Bell moving away, Lee trying to get there, Hurst coming in behind. And some doubt about whose ball. The decision is the goal kick. Disappointed Geoff Hurst. This is Rensenbrink. Showing good pace. Peters. To Lee, taking Eichenberg across and pulling Drost back. Bell just inside him. Hughes behind. Beaten by 2. It's Van Dijk. One for Cruyff to chase. Now Mulder. Mulder taking on Mallory, got Rensenbrink for the pullback, running a bit loose, away by Moore. And Moore had to stretch to make the clearance. And Van Dijk again got hold of it. Backs a fair wallop to Dick Van Dijk. There he is, number 16. Scored 30 goals last season for FC Twente and was transferred to Ajax in the close season. Scored 6 this season, which is 3 behind Cruyff. Ajax on top of the table, incidentally, by a point from Feyenoord. Charlton. Hughes coming forward. Mallory moving forward, square of Charlton. England 4 being held up front. Charlton, on a return, couldn't get hold of it. Bell coming in, and goal! By Colin Bell, out of nothing. Colin Bell, the scorer. Really, Charlton trying for the pass and return, didn't get hold of it, it ran loose to Bell, and Bell made no mistake to make a goal out of nothing with 6 minutes, a little under that, of the match remaining. would think is something of a bonus for England, but it really is an example of how dangerous they can be if the half chance is there. They played terribly well defensively, not creating much up front, but Bell got the half chance and made everything he could of it. Cruyff. Turning round and round Hughes. Well blocked by Bobby Moore. For a corner, the Dutch hope. For a goal kick, the Russian referee says. And it looks as though we're going to get Peter Thomson coming on the field. Harold Shepperton is on the touchline. And Francis Lee is the player coming off. Got a knock in the first half, you may remember, with a knock on the leg. Peter Bonetti. Thompson beaten by Kroll, Mulder beaten by Wright. That's a situation of the seconds ticking off. About half a minute of the match now remaining. Muren with the throw. Israel going forward. Comes to Drost. Referee yet to look at his watch. Van Dijk headed away by Bobby Charlton. Hurst. Bell. Tommy Wright coming forward. Thompson moving in the inside right position. Bell taking his place now as Thompson moves out to the right wing, but the pass not a very good one. Jack Charlton really reading it well. Peter Thomson. Muren back to make the tackle. Charlton. Peters. Drost across. And a goal kick. And in fact the goal kick which won't be taken. And England get victory with something of a bonus goal from Colin Bell, the man who hit the crossbar at the end of the first half. As a match, a very good exercise in terms of Mexico, a very mature performance in defence, not too much created up front, but when the chance came, and a half chance it was taken by Colin Bell to give England victory with only his second goal. A handshake there to Hughes from the Dutch skipper, obviously a very disappointed man, but England clearly happy with their start to the World Cup season. And remember that they built from defence last season and built very well to do very well on tour. Let's hope that they can do it again, having started this time with a 1-0 victory. The goal scored by Colin Bell on the left of your picture there, here in the Olympic Stadium, Amsterdam tonight. A recap on the score: Holland 0, England 1, the scorer Colin Bell.